Hey guys, welcome back to the 411 on Tech. A new version of the Oculus Quest 2 recently went up for sale, and Oculus doubled the storage for the same price, so we couldn't resist. We have the original Oculus Rift, but with the Rift line discontinued, if we wanted to upgrade, the Quest 2 would be our only option. Since Oculus now decided to focus all its efforts on a single headset, the Quest 2 is a hybrid VR headset, so it can be used standalone and you can also connect it to your PC. So let's check it out and see if this is going to be a solid replacement for our Rift.
You can get the Oculus Quest 2 in two storage sizes, those being 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes. Oculus doubled the size of the entry-level Quest 2 from 64 gigabytes to 128 gigabytes for the same price of $299. After the OS is installed, the 128 gigabytes model has about 112 gigabytes of usable storage, and the 256 gigabyte model has 244 gigabytes of usable storage. And most games are about 500 megabytes to 3 gigabytes in size. A few games are larger than that, like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at almost 6 gigabytes and Myst at almost 9 gigabytes. Given the standard size of most games, you can probably store 30 to 40 games and experiences on the Quest 2's 128 gigabyte model. If you want to store and watch HD and 3D movies on the Quest 2, I would get the 256 gigabyte model.
Now let's talk about design. First off, the headset is coming in at 503 grams or 17.7 ounces, which is about 70 grams lighter than the original Oculus Quest, and compared to some other VR headsets, it's pretty light. Oculus spiced things up a bit, and instead of going with their classic all black, they went for a two-tone whitish gray color with a black faceplate. And I'm a sucker for a two-tone white and black color scheme, but I am concerned that over time the white might get dirty and regular cleaning might be needed to keep it looking fresh. The overall design is pretty minimalistic, nothing fancy or loud. You do have a very small Oculus logo on the top front, but it's very subtle. The head unit itself is plastic and it's smooth, but it has a very slight texture to it that I like. However, it does seem easy to scratch. It's shipped with a paper cover over the unit to protect it, but when we took it off, it already has scratches on it. It also has two protruding arms on either side that connect to the head strap, and they can be adjusted slightly up or down. Then you have the faceplate, which is plastic outlined in fairly thick and plush foam. And it's relatively easy to pop out, so if you want to swap it out with a third-party face pad, or if you wear glasses and need to install the included eyeglass spacer, you can do that. Now, as we mentioned earlier, we have the newer version of the Oculus Quest 2, which was just released in August. If you didn't know, there was some controversy, reports of the face pad causing skin irritation for some people. So Oculus voluntarily recalled the headset and re-released it with an included silicone cover to put over the face pad. And if you already have the Oculus Quest 2, you can request to have one sent to you for free, and it's fairly easy and simple to install.
Around the front, you can see the 4 sensors that the Quest 2 uses for inside-out tracking of the headset and the controllers. Looking at the back of the headset, you can see the pair of Fresnel lenses. On the left side of the Quest 2 is the USB-C and 3.5mm headphone jack. Having this is nice so you can use your own headphones for a more immersive experience. Switching over to the right side of the headset, you'll find the power button and LED power indicator. And on the bottom of the headset is the volume rocker and mics.
And the head strap is an elastic textured fabric that has 3 points of adjustment. So you have the Velcro strap at the top that you can adjust, and it connects to another strap that has 2 plastic clips you can pull or slide to make it tighter or more loose on your head. And I was actually really surprised just how good of a fit I got. I usually struggle with VR headsets, getting them to fit. I don't know, I guess I just have a small head or something. Usually with the Velcro strap, I have to take it back all the way and it's still too loose. So I was actually pretty happy with it. But if you aren't happy with the fit or level of adjustment, Oculus does provide an alternative Elite strap, sold separately of course, for $49. But it's supposed to be more ergonomic and comfortable. It's plastic instead of fabric and has a ratchet wheel in the back for a quicker and more fine-tuned adjustment. If you want to spend even more money, for $129, Oculus offers the Elite strap with a built-in battery that's supposed to double your battery life. And they even threw in a carrying case for good measure, which is pretty nice.
Located on the side of the strap on both sides are built-in speakers, but like I said earlier, you'll want to use a good set of in-ear buds or headphones via the 3.5mm jack. For comfort, we both thought it was comfortable over about 30 to 40 minutes. However, since we had to switch between each other, you do need to take the time to adjust the straps to get it just right for yourself. If you're using a headset just for yourself, you won't have to worry about adjusting it each time. After 30 to 40 minutes, the elastic strap starts to take a toll on you with the amount of pressure being applied to your face. Also, since all the components are housed in the front of the headset, it starts to weigh heavily on your face. We definitely will be purchasing the Elite strap with the battery pack. We are hoping that this will distribute the weight a little better front to rear to relieve some of the pressure on the face. We also will be buying the VR cover for the Quest 2. The stock face cover seems padded well, but the VR cover is better. Another accessory Oculus sells is a fit pack that helps block out light for better immersion and comes with a couple of alternative face covers to accommodate more face shapes. We think this is something we might buy because around the nose area there's a gap that lets in light, and it can be distracting at times when looking down at something on the screen and you start to see a little bit of light.
Moving on to the controllers. The controllers have the same white and black color scheme and that slightly textured plastic which helps keep your grip. And the handles or grips of the controllers are shaped perfectly to fit in the grip of your hand. Now, if you're used to Oculus VR controllers, you'll see a lot of similarities here. Just like the original Quest and Rift S, you have the ring that houses the internal LED lights that allow the controllers to be tracked by the headset. And then you have the black pads in the middle that house your buttons. On both controllers, you have your grip buttons and triggers, A, B, X, Y face buttons, joysticks, and resting pads for your thumb that have a capacitive sensor. On the left controller, you also have a menu button, and on the right controller, the Oculus home button.
And we found them to be comfortable in hand. We like the feel and weight of the controllers. They remind us of our Rift controllers, only the ring is adjusted for inside-out tracking. The controllers run on AA batteries. Oculus claims the batteries in these controllers will last 4 times longer than the original Quest. And there are reports of the batteries in the controllers lasting as long as 3 months. There's another way to operate your Quest 2, and that's with hand controls. This was our first experience using hand controls. You can use hand controls to operate the main menu, browser, and there's support for hand controls in some games and apps. Basically, you just put the controllers away and then use your hands to perform pinch gestures to navigate through the main menu. In games and apps, you use your hands to interact with objects in the virtual world. This is really cool and another step closer to the world of Ready Player One. Between the excellent controllers and support for hand tracking, the Quest 2 is a really strong VR experience from the controller standpoint.
So let's talk about specs and hardware. Unlike the original Oculus Quest, which had the Snapdragon 835 processor, the Oculus Quest 2 got upgraded to the Snapdragon XR2 chip, which was specifically designed for standalone VR and AR headsets. This is a significant boost in processing power, allowing for better and sharper graphics and smoother gameplay. And you also get 6 GB of RAM, which is 2 more than you got in the original Oculus Quest.
With the Quest 2, they went with a single panel fast switch LCD panel paired with the same Fresnel lenses from the headsets in the past. There is less adjustability for your IPD, which stands for interpupillary distance. There are 3 positions you can set. You want to measure your IPD for the best possible VR experience. We left a link to an article on how to find out what your IPD is in the description of this video. The 3 positions are 58mm, 63mm, and 68mm. Like I mentioned earlier, the screen for the Quest 2 is a single fast switch LCD panel. The original Quest had 2 OLED screens, 1 per eye. With the LCD panel, you won't get those inky blacks, which makes for more impactful contrast. OLED also has great shadow detail. We'll talk more about how this single LCD panel works later in the video.
For audio, like Damien mentioned earlier, you have those integrated speakers built into the arms of the head strap. They don't sound bad, they're clear and they get loud enough, but they didn't have as full of a sound as we would like. We especially noticed it when playing Beat Saber. So again, you'll probably want to connect a headset. Oculus partnered with Logitech and they came out with earbuds and a headset that you can purchase, which are specifically designed for the Oculus Quest 2. The earbuds are the G333 VR gaming earphones for $50, and the headset is the Pro Gaming headset for $100. We'll provide links to them in the descriptions below. Now, battery life for the Quest 2 is around 2 to 3 hours depending on what you're doing. If you're playing games, you'll get closer to 2 hours, and if you're just watching media, you'll get around 3 hours. In our experience, we were mostly just playing games, and we did get about 2 hours of battery life. And to fully charge the Quest 2, it takes about 2.5 hours. But don't forget, if you want double the battery life, you can get that Elite strap with a battery pack for $129.
Let's discuss the performance of the Quest 2 now. The Quest 2 makes use of a single fast switch LCD panel with a resolution of 1832 by 1920 per eye. And the panel supports refresh rates up to 120 Hz. So there's nearly 2K resolution with 120 Hz refresh rate. The original Quest had OLED screens, so you aren't going to get those inky blacks with the LCD, but I gotta tell you guys, this display really looks good. The screen door effect is barely noticeable, and with the resolution the graphics look really sharp and the colors are vibrant. The field of view is about 90 degrees. You will, however, see some light rays when looking at high contrast items like white text against a dark background due to the Fresnel lenses used in the Quest 2.
And if you're curious to see how the Quest 2 compares with other popular VR headsets, the HP Reverb G2 has a resolution of 2160 by 2160. The HTC Vive Pro has a resolution of 2448 by 2448. The Valve Index has a resolution of 1440 by 1600, and the Oculus Rift S has a resolution of 1280 by 1440. So it actually stacks up pretty well with the competition. Refresh rates supported on the Quest 2 are 72 Hz, 90 Hz, and 120 Hz, which is still listed under experimental features in the settings and needs to be toggled on. And obviously your refresh rate is going to depend on the game and what refresh rates it supports. And just a quick note about FFR, or fixed foveated rendering, which is a technique used by game developers to render what is seen in your peripheral at a lower resolution than where you're actually looking. This frees up some processing power and helps maintain a more smoother and consistent frame rate. However, it can still be noticeable on some headsets. We haven't actually used the original Oculus Quest, but on the Quest 2 this is supposed to be less noticeable. And we can say that in our experience with the Quest 2, it was hard to tell that this was actually being done.
Now before you can start playing games, you set up boundaries for your player during setup with the Oculus Quest 2's Guardian system. The Quest 2 has a pass-through feature that uses the cameras on the front of the headset to allow you to see your surroundings in the real world. You simply draw an outline of your play area and the Quest will know that is your play space. When you get too close to the edge of the play area, a boundary wall will appear letting you know you are approaching the end of your play space. This system will help you avoid personal injury from breaking things in your house or damaging the Quest 2. The 4 cameras on the headset are used for inside-out tracking. The cameras make out where you are in the space around you, and the internal sensor track your orientation. The cameras also track your controllers, which also have sensors for motion tracking in them, and there is also support for hand tracking. It's a 6 degree of freedom system and makes for a very immersive VR experience. While playing things like Beat Saber and Vader Immortal, I had a good experience. The graphics are definitely a big step up compared to our original Rift. Being able to run games at either 90 Hz or some even at 120 Hz is really good and helps to decrease the dreaded VR motion sickness. Overall, I would say gameplay is a really good experience.
Yeah, I would agree. While playing games like Beat Saber and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, it was a very smooth experience and the graphics really looked great, especially coming from the original Rift, like Damien said. And it was so nice to not really notice any screen door effect. Also, hand tracking was really good. I didn't notice any issues playing something like Beat Saber, where you have a lot of quick hand movements. The field of view is more narrow than some other VR headsets. It would be nice if it was a little wider, but once you get playing, you kind of forget about it.
And watching YouTube in VR is a good experience, especially watching 360-degree content. You can also watch movies in VR using the app Big Screen, and there's also Netflix available in VR on the Quest 2. It's a really nice experience if you want to feel like you're in a movie theater, and we enjoyed it. There are a couple of ways you can stream PC VR games to the Quest 2 headset, whether those games be Rift games or other PC VR games like those in your Steam library. One of the ways is via the official Oculus Link cable. It retails for $79. It's kind of pricey because it's a fiber optic cable which will provide very good performance. However, Oculus has opened up the Quest 2 to be able to use third-party USB-C to USB-A cables. We will leave a link in the description to a few cables you can use. Make sure you have the Quest 2 powered on and the Oculus app open on your computer. Then connect the Oculus Link cable to the USB-C port on the side of the headset and the other end to your PC. And follow the prompts on your PC and in the Quest 2 to get Oculus Link set up. Once you get it set up, you'll need to head over to the Oculus Link settings in the Oculus app to adjust the refresh rate. By default, it's set to 72 Hz. But if you go into settings, you can change that to 80, 90, or 120 Hz. We will throw up the minimum requirements for streaming VR from your PC here.
Now, if you don't want to be tethered to your PC via cable, but still want to be able to play all your PC VR games like us, you can use Oculus AirLink, which allows you to stream those games wirelessly to your Oculus Quest 2 headset. So exciting! This is an awesome feature to have at this price point, because if you have a PC VR headset and you've ever gone down the rabbit hole of trying to find a way to make it wireless, you'll know how pricey it can be. Just as an example, the HTC Vive wireless adapter is $349. That's basically the cost of the Oculus Quest 2 plus or minus $50, depending on what storage option you have. There is a but though if you haven't already guessed it. You do need to have a strong Wi-Fi connection. You have to have a dual band router because you need to be connected via the 5 GHz band, and it has to be an AC or AX router. And Oculus recommends that your play space be ideally within 20 feet of your Wi-Fi router, and that you have a wired connection from your PC to your router. But if you can check all those boxes, you should be good to go. Our experience streaming games wirelessly, however, wasn't great. We met all the requirements and the headset was getting 85 megabits per second, which should be fine, but the quality was not great and we were experiencing dropped frames. So we plan on troubleshooting some more and experiment with AirLink's option to adjust the bitrate to see if we can get a better experience.
And if you don't want to use Oculus AirLink, you can use the Virtual Desktop app, which is another way to wirelessly play your PC VR games. As with AirLink, you will need a good 5 GHz network and to have your PC connected via Ethernet. This method is not free, however, as you'll need to purchase a copy of Virtual Desktop for the Quest 2. You'll also need to install the Desktop Streamer app for PC. In our testing, we really did notice a huge difference in quality between AirLink and Virtual Desktop. But it did seem like games ran a little smoother in Virtual Desktop. Virtual Desktop also offers further setting adjustments if you prefer a more fine-tuned experience. Having the ability for wireless VR is a real selling point for the Quest 2. Being wire-free really increases the VR immersion. TPcast makes a wireless adapter for the Rift, but it costs more than the Quest 2 itself. And as Michelle mentioned earlier, Vive has their wireless adapter, which costs more than this 128GB model Quest 2. Plus, you have the cost of the Rift or the Vive headset to go wireless with them. So having the ability for wireless VR built in is a real win for Oculus. So on to final thoughts. I give the Quest 2 a score of a 9, and that's because, you have the ability to go wireless. You can do the standalone VR, which is really nice. Not always have to worry about that cord over your shoulder and being wireless. It's really nice. I like the design of it. I like the inside-out tracking. You don't have to set up sensors all over the place. The price point is good, and also having the ability to play your PC VR, your Steam or your Rift titles on this is really nice. So all that combined with the price, what you get the hybrid ability. Playing your PC VR games. I like the controllers; they're pretty comfortable in hand. So it's really great. I do not like the faceplate combined with the strap and I guess the face pad that they have with it, there's just a little bit too much pressure. So I'm really hoping that, you know, that Elite strap and a VR cover will give us, you know, more comfort. And we're going to get the Elite strap with the battery, so we'll have double the battery life. But, you know, the resolution and, you know, all those other things I mentioned before, you know, it really makes this a good VR headset. Another really huge thing that a lot of people might not like, you do have to have a Facebook account. And Facebook does have, you know, kind of a bad track record with the data privacy. So that is something to consider. So that might be a sticking point for some people. Michelle, what do you think?
Overall, I really like the Quest 2. I like having the option to play standalone if I ever have the urge to play some Beat Saber, but I don't feel like going downstairs and turning on the PC and connecting to the Rift. But if we want to play our Rift games we already own, we have the option to connect to the PC and play them via the Oculus Link cable. You also have the option to do this via AirLink, but as we mentioned, we didn't have the best experience with that. The graphics on the Quest 2 really look great, and everything ran really smooth. The screen door effect, you know, we grew accustomed to with the Rift is virtually non-existent on the Quest 2, so I really like that. Hand tracking was really good. I didn't notice any issues. So like I said, overall, I really liked it. The AirLink issues we experienced aren't a deal breaker because if we want to play our PC VR games, we're fine with just connecting to the PC with the Oculus Link cable. What is a deal breaker though is the comfort. When we first unboxed it and I put it on, I had no issue. It was comfortable and I was able to wear it for at least about 30 or 40 minutes before experiencing any discomfort. But once we started taking it off and then Damien put it on and he adjusted it to fit his head, when I went to put it back on and I tried to adjust it back to fit my head, it was just a struggle to get that same comfortable fit. And at one point, as soon as I put it back on, it immediately started hurting my head and started to give me a headache, so I had to take it off. But the cool thing is that there are other options out there as far as straps and face pads are concerned to help you get a more comfortable fit. So we're definitely going to check those options out, and once we get a better fit, I would say that this is going to be a solid headset replacement for our Oculus Rift. Again, like you mentioned though, another kind of downer is that you do have to have a Facebook account. I don't have a Facebook account anymore, so I'm kind of using Damien's Facebook account, so that is a downer there. But all in all, I do like the Oculus Quest, and I give it an 8. Again, mostly due to the comfort issues we experienced and having to have that Facebook account.
Yeah, so that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let us know in the comments down below what headset you are using, and if you have a wireless solution with either the HTC Vive or the Rift with the TP Cast wireless adapter. Let us know what headsets you guys are using. But we're probably going to be using this and just trying to get it more comfortable and use it as our main Oculus environment PC VR standalone VR headset. So we'll see you guys in the next one. We hope you like this video. Do remember to subscribe and to comment and to like this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye!